Then we can go to some junkyards, some sketchy junkyards, and have some fun.
You know that I love to be in sketchy junkyards.
Absolutely.
All right, peeps. I am in a unique place right now with Mr. Thomas Hayden. The reason I am here, he had reached out to me today and he said, Todd, can you come help me shoot a video? I have a discrepancy and with PayPal and I want to take care of that. And I was like, why would we need to shoot a video on that? For one.
Yeah.
But I also know he has done something amazing. He's been a big, huge fan of Dave Ramsey Dude.
Yes.
And in that world, he learned a fun thing with, I call it flipping rocks. I did a video on flipping rocks and where you have to wake up every day and you have to do something different. Yeah. He started dealing with that with car parts, right?
That's right.
Okay, so why don't you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so in this process that we were walking through to generate extra income, one day, so I work on a lot of my own stuff, my own cars and stuff. I'm cheap that way, so I was out at the junkyard and I started to be, well, if I pull these couple extra parts, I can sell them and pay for what I need to buy.
Are you listening?
And that was the genesis of
That's called a flip and rock idea right there. You flipped a rock. You picked it up and you're like, hey, there's money under this rock. It's called car parts.
Yeah, so now I'm looking out at all these cars sitting out here and I'm seeing there's a $20 bill, there's a $10 bill, there's a $50 bill.
Right.
And you just go out and you pick them up.
It's that easy. You get banged up and stung by wasps and all these other things, but you do.
There's some work involved.
There's some work involved.
But that grew into, I mean, I've had some history on eBay and selling car parts, but that kind of reignited it and put it in a different way, a different business model for me.
Right.
So that grew, and that ended up being enough substantial income to help hit some of those goals
that you had.
That we were working on.
And you have to remember, he is not a, it's not like this is your full-time job. You have a full-time job. And it's this was like a side hustle, basically, is what it turned into.
Yeah.
Then it turned into something bigger, and he's into some stuff. And if you could see what I'm seeing right now, so we're going to be doing a couple videos with him because he's doing something new with estate sales. I think that he could show us all possibly how we could go flip a few rocks and maybe make a couple $100 here and there, simple ways. Today, though, the reason I thought this was good is that he does a lot on eBay.
I do, primarily on eBay.
Yeah. And so with that comes disputes. A lot of times we hear the whole thing of customers always right.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? That's the old adage.
This is what the adage is. Yeah. And today, customers not right, but you can dispute things and you can get your money back on eBay or PayPal. And a lot of times it's just kind of thrown out there. They just hit the button and the money's taken out of your account, right? Is that what happened?
Yep, that's what happened. Yeah, and I've actually had another one that there may be another video, another story. But, you know, as hard as you try.
Yes, to keep people happy.
With working, we always base our business on integrity. We do the right thing. We're not out to trying to rip somebody off. But even in your best intentions, you run into people who are either going to one game the system, or that no matter what you do, you're not going to make them happy.
It is what it is.
You have to deal with it. And how do you deal with that as a business owner?
Here's what we're going to do. He asked me to do a video. We just finished it. It's a dispute that he's sending into PayPal. But I got to thinking, the video here is how, if you're working in this world, how do you file a dispute in a fair way, send a video, possibly a video component, to show that what you sent out was legit and the person wasn't gaming the system, and that's what we just did. So I thought this was a great, why don't you explain, if somebody's on eBay, that process, that if you're selling on eBay and they hit that button and they dispute it, what happens and how your process has been going so far in disputing what they've said.
Yeah. So there's two venues or two ways that a buyer can initiate a return or a dispute.
Okay.
So the first way, what usually comes up, the most common way is just through eBay. So they'll go out,
they'll buy something,
and for whatever reason, it may be a mistake that I've made. I've had a few items where, I made a mistake on something, I missed something, we take care of that. It may be they changed their mind, they didn't like it. In this last case, they got it, received it, tried to modify it, broke it, and then wanted to return it. That's another story. So whatever the reason, so they can go out to eBay, and eBay is very much buyer friendly, right? If you've sold on eBay anytime at all, you just go out, you hit start a return, It gives you a few options. And then you get this nice little notice from eBay that a buyer has requested a return and
Right.
there's a reason for it. And there's a lot of rules around that as far as your responses as a seller on most of those is very limited.
Right.
Because again, they want to make sure the buyer experience is top quality, so they have people come back. Kind of expect sellers to eat a lot of that cost and expense.
And that's, I mean, that really is to be expected. I mean, with any kind of business model.
Sure, yeah,
Right.
from their point, it makes perfect sense that they would, because there's a lot more buyers than there are sellers.
So they refunded the money, and so now he's basically got the parts. There were 4 horns that the buyer said they weren't working. He had them for 4 months.
Yeah, so he was actually outside of the return window for eBay. So the other avenue is you have up to 6 months through PayPal
Right.
to file a PayPal dispute, and that's how this buyer came back at me on these particular items since he was outside the window.
Right, and you're dealing with, he's not like selling 1 or 2 items. You're selling how many items a month? I mean, it's like on average 150. How
Yeah,
many?
it's been over 100 average for the last couple of years.
So this isn't-
There's a few.
Yeah,
There's a few
he's
out
had
there.
quite a few. I thought it would be kind of cool. So what we did was we had these 4 horns that were from GM.
Yes, General Motors 4-note horns is
Okay.
what they're known as.
And so they were sent back, and with the send back, he said that they didn't work. So we shot a video, and he's got, just why don't you show him how you did a test? So
Yeah.
he did a test on these, and then we're sending that video in to share with them, hey, look, you know, they do work. He said that they didn't. And so that's a great way to use video in your format with your eBay business to actually show a different avenue. So he's got a, what is that, a 12?
Just a 12-volt power supply, and this is the same way that I would test them before I'd list them or send them out, so that I know that they're working. And just hook up one at a time. It's just a simple 2 wires. And you ready for this, Todd? Don't want to scare you. Neighbors love me, by the way. It's great. So that one obviously works, right?
Yeah, so then he goes through and he tests every single one of them. And then this is the way they were sent out because you tested them before they left. So the hope is showing that each one of the horns works, that he can actually get the possibility of having the money refunded back to your account because you did exactly what you promised to do on eBay.
That's right. I followed through on my end, and the buyer had an issue, but again, I fulfilled my part of the contract.
Yeah.
So
here's that's your tip today. How you can use video to do a dispute in a fair way to say, hey, look, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I think a lot of times eBay people probably just lay down and just shake their head. But he's like, not this time. I'm going to go ahead and file a dispute and see how it works out. So I look forward to giving you that later, and we're going to do side hustle. When are we doing side hustle? We're going to have to do side hustle. We're going to do estate sales, and then I think you need to take me out to do some auto parts.
Yes, I've been wanting to do that.
So
We're going to introduce Todd to the world of estate sales, which is pretty active in the Kansas City market.
Okay.
One of the most active, I think, in the country.
Okay.
Surprisingly. So we can talk about that. We can talk about the market, all the versions, and then we
You
can
hear
go
that?
to.
And then what?
Then we can go to some junkyards, some sketchy
Yeah.
junkyards, and have some fun.
You know that I love to be in sketchy junkyards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's amazing what you find in the cars and the story that it tells, Todd.
Yeah, just as long as there's no dead bodies or mafia things or
I haven't found
bullet
that
holes.
yet. Oh, there are bullet holes. And there are
bullet holes are good.
biohazard and
Oh, biohazards are good, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well,
So,
all right. So that's what you have when you see Mr. Thomas again. I'm sure we'll be doing a side hustle of some sort, either estate sales, and I look forward to that because you specialize in tools.
yeah.
And he's going to share with us a guy that specializes in records, another guy that specializes in, what else? You had a couple.
Yeah. Books, furniture.
So,
there's all
So
sorts
whatever
of
your
things.
passion might be an avenue for you to make some extra money. So that's pretty much it. That's our vlog today. Appreciate it. So this was a quick vlog. I wasn't sure about this. I just kind of pick up the camera and go with it. So hopefully anyone in eBay world, this was good, helpful information for you. So, all right. We're Thomas. Here's what happens now. Is,